Whatever happened to quiet mode? Quiet, please. Please. Evening, everybody. Welcome. January 21st, 2025. Members of council, welcome back. Staff, good to see everybody. We have a new face in the room, Jeremy Schwartz from our planning and economic development, marketing team, housing, it's the department that does quite a bit for this city. And I'm also glad to welcome, on behalf of council, our new CAO, Director Rideout, which we'll now shortly approve. Good to see you all. Everybody's here. And we got a couple of proclamations. But first, let us begin with the agenda. So I'd like to motion, please. Moved by Councillor Lane, second by Councillor Fry for the agenda. Thank you much. All in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. In recognition of the City of Mount Pearl's commitment to foster respectful and collaborative relationships with Indigenous peoples in the City of Mount Pearl and beyond, we hereby acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk and the Mi'kmaq. Mount Pearl and the broader metro region continue to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. We only met 7 days ago. The minutes are before you. Thank you to our staff for putting the minutes together. Any errors or omissions before we ask for adoption? No hands up. I'll call for a motion. Thank you, Councillor Rice. Second by Councillor Randall. All in favor of the minutes? Those opposed? And that's carried as well. Business arising, please, folks. No, I'm looking for fireworks because it was discussed at our meeting. Is it there, guys? What number? Number 4. Is there any update? I think committee might have had a chat about it, but I'm just curious where we stand on that item. Who would like to speak?
We did, thank you, Mayor. We did briefly speak of it, at a meeting a couple of weeks back, but our committee meeting is tomorrow, so we'll have a more robust discussion tomorrow and report back to our next public meeting.
Thank you very much, and I'll ask the clerk to ensure that stays on the action report. Thank you very much. Now, we have a proclamation. If there's nothing else for the minutes, hearing none, I'm going to read a proclamation related to World Wetlands Day, and I'm going to ask Kieran Miller, who is one of our planning staff, to come up and join us for this proclamation. And I think she's prepared to speak to it. I'm sure she'll speak very eloquently. So I just have to make sure I read eloquently to keep up with the high standard. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here. Yep. So whereas World Wetlands Day is an international celebration of wetlands and the role they play in our natural and built environments, and whereas wetlands are water ecosystems containing plant life and other organisms that bring ecological health to water bodies, as well as the wider environment, their importance is particularly significant given increasingly volatile climate patterns. And whereas it is in the public interest for civic leaders, staff, and residents of Mount Pearl to recognize, and we do, the vital role wetlands play in our community and the larger region. Whereas the year 2025 marks the 54th annual World Wetlands Day. Wow. I, therefore, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues, we do hereby proclaim February 2nd, 2025 as World Wetlands Day here in the City of Mount Pearl, and I'm going to sign that. And Kieran, while I do, I'm prepping the mic. And again, welcome. And I understand you want to speak to the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, council and staff and members of the public. Thank you so much for having me here. We're really excited to recognize the upcoming World Wetlands Day, and I'll just share a few words. So World Wetlands Day is celebrated every year on February 2nd, dating back to 1971. It's a day of international celebration of wetlands and the role that they play in our natural and built environments. The purpose of World Wetlands Day is to reaffirm the value of wetlands globally and locally and to highlight their importance. This importance is particularly significant given increasingly volatile climate patterns and matters relating to climate change. Wetlands make significant contributions to our natural and built environments in the following ways. They act as natural water filters from contaminants such as excess nitrogen and phosphorus. They trap and store carbon, and wetlands are actually store more carbon than any other terrestrial ecosystem on the planet. They decompose organic pollutants in the environment. They trap suspended sediments that would otherwise clog waterways and affect the natural travel of fish and amphibians. And finally, they help mitigate the impacts of climate change, such as flooding and droughts. The city of Mount Pearl contains many wetlands and water bodies, including Powers Pond, Branscombs Pond, the Waterford River, and areas east of Wyatt Boulevard. And please join us in recognizing the importance of these water bodies and wetlands and the role that they play in our local community and the wider region. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Councillor Locke. I kind of had a gut feeling. Anybody else when you're ready? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. When a fellow geographer joins our chambers and speaks to this, and I'm delighted that we celebrate this, every year. We mark this every year in our council chambers, and I just harken back to when we were developing the plan for Kenmount Hill or Northlands, as we call it. One of the concerns up there was, from our residents, was the wetlands and protecting the wetlands. And there's a provincial buffer that's required around the wetlands, but we doubled it in our case in the city of Mount Pearl, just to show that we do appreciate the importance of the wetlands. I and my wife went for a walk around Branscombs Pond yesterday. I was speaking with Councillor Bill yesterday, and he was celebrating the new walkway over there. And it's quite an extensive wetlands over there as well, and your point about, to some people, they may not seem as pretty as, floral displays and cultured landscaping and stuff like that, but they play an important role with waterfowl, to your point, filtration, carbon capture, and the like. So I'm delighted, and you did a great job bringing in the proclamation and speaking to it. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you much. Over to you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I can't agree more with my fellow colleague, Councillor Locke, around the importance of this day. And thank you, Karen, for kind of identifying, laying out some really important points to this. We are a part of the yourself, the team, and my co-chair here, Councillor Ansel, is a part of the Planning and Engineering Development Committee. And a part of our work is looking at significant infrastructure, significant planning. And this is also an opportunity to understand that a lot of the items that we have to safeguard against, pollutants, waterways, a lot of this, when we support wetlands, is taken care of for us. It's actually costing us less in infrastructure. It's costing us less in the road work or any sort of work that we need to be doing around water. And that's just an important part, let alone the beauty, the natural landscape, what that does for people's mental health, what that does for the environment, to have that available in our city. And I mean, we've been called an arboretum city. We've been called a city within a park. A part of those green spaces is absolutely wetlands. It was only last year that even the scouting groups that partook in engaging the wetlands through a program where they put up different types of birdhouses to encourage that work. So it's also a community effort, bringing people to these places. And as Councillor Locke had mentioned, it's an educative piece. It's an experiential thing. And you don't know what you got till it's gone. And that is so true. We have places that have just completely, other municipalities have learned their lesson of just paving a place and what that does, and the value and what is lost. It's also understanding the value of how we treat water and how we treat other pollutants that come from a city, that the wetlands is a very sensitive and balanced ecosystem. So having those things in place like our city does with planning and engineering and ensuring that we're also supporting and protecting those, I think it's a mutual beneficial for the wetlands and us. So thank you very much, Karen. It's wonderful to have one of the team members present today and talk about something that obviously you're passionate about and very knowledgeable. So thank you very much.
Also going to get her in a picture too, right? That's a heads up. Over to Councillor Antle and co-chair of PED.
Your Worship, yes, most has been said, but as part of PED committee, I think I've been on planning now 6 years, and I certainly enjoy every part of planning. But World Wetlands Day, I mean, as Councillor Locke said, the City of Mount Pearl, when we go around the City of Mount Pearl and I see our wetlands, we are always proud that everything is so well done. And when we have a public hearing, that's one thing we can always stand up and say, our wetlands are always a priority. There's never an issue. We never skimp on it. It's always in our planning meetings. I mean, Karen, you can attest this. Every time we talk about our wetlands, it's always a priority with us. It's never, there's no side conversations. It's always there and we're ready to defend it at all. And Karen, you've done a fabulous job and a great presentation and thank you very much.
Councillor Rice.
Karen, just want to say thank you for coming in and, around this council table, we certainly support, the initiative of wetlands. And I just want to add that, the City of Mount Pearl has done such a great job. Branscombe Pond, we took all the Branscombe Pond and Powers Pond right now. I'm so impressed with taking up all the wood was up there and getting the granular back up there, which is, part of the earth, I call it right now, where we have foreign objects up there, I call it, putting wood down in the wetlands. So I'm glad that's done. But also, I just want to say, big kudos too for all the council and the Rotary that do a great job cleaning up the wetlands every year. The amount of garbage that's taken out of that, when we have that cleanup day, it's unreal, right? But the wildlife, that we travel that trail back and forth there through down the T-rail there. And the wildlife that's down around there is absolutely phenomenal, right? And it's so good to preserve that and, clean up up off the Waterford Valley is so important because I was down there last summer and I see somebody down there with a fishing pole fishing there. And I asked them, do they eat it? And he said, no, don't eat them anymore. But years ago they did, right? So, but, so important to preserve that. And that is part of our, development for the city right now, Faunier City Centre here, and, hopefully developments down that area. So thanks for coming in again, and we certainly support the initiative and what you're doing.
If there's no further questions, I'd like to invite you for a little quick snap. All right.
Miss, thank you for coming.
Very welcome. Thank you. All right. Oh, no. Council, I get really excited this time of the year because I get to see an old friend of ours who's been coming to council. I've been on council, I'd say 15 years. Paul Toomey has been coming in with the Eating Disorder Foundation, I think, every year. It shows you his commitment. Vince Withers, a family not forgotten when it comes to eating disorders, used to come in with you, as I recall. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to talk about eating disorders. I'm so disappointed that we still haven't made as much progress, I'm sure, Paul, as you would like. But I'd like to invite you to come up as we proclaim February, the first week in February is Eating Disorders Awareness Week. And you have a different theme. There's a different theme every year. Hang on. No. Greetings.
Sure.
Thank you. Whereas an eating disorder is a serious mental illness with often devastating physical implications. Eating disorders affect many individuals and families in our province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Recovery from an eating disorder is a journey that includes support from families, caregivers, members of council, the entire community. Whereas the Eating Disorder Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador is a leadership advocacy group dedicated to promoting awareness, treatment services, and providing family support services and information about matters related to eating disorders. Whereas Eating Disorders Awareness Week is a time dedicated to raising awareness, promoting understanding, and providing support to individuals affected by this illness. Whereas February 1st to the 7th is dedicated across Newfoundland and Labrador and the entire country as a special time when many educational and awareness activities take place to help raise the level of understanding of eating disorder prevention, treatment, and recovery. Excuse me. The theme for Eating Disorder Awareness Week 2025 is embracing possibilities, and I'm sure Paul's going to help explain a little bit more of that in a minute. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues on council, we do hereby proclaim the 1st of February to the 7th of February in 2025, and let it be observed as Eating Disorders Awareness Week here in the city of Mount Pearl. Greetings as always. Let's talk about embracing possibilities if we could.
Certainly, we can do that. Your Worship, councillors, staff, thank you very much for the opportunity once again this year. I've lost count of the number of years I've been coming to this council table to speak here, and I'm always excited for the opportunity. I was getting a little bit worried last week when I hadn't heard whether I was invited this year or not, and then Anne reached out, and I was delighted to say yes immediately that I would be here. Yeah, no, it's I've been with the foundation now going on 12 years, and maybe the first year, no, but since then I don't remember a year when I haven't been within the Mount Pearl Council chambers to talk about eating disorders. And as the mayor said a little bit earlier, unfortunately, we're still talking about eating disorders because they still very much exist. I'm going to use a number, 4. Now you're wondering why I'm talking about 4. Because my program manager came to my office today and said, we've had inquiries from 4 new families today alone. So that gives you an indication that eating disorders are still out there. When 4 brand new families who've never reached out to the foundation before are calling and saying, help, we think our daughter or our son is dealing with an eating disorder and we don't know where to turn. Well, that's the role we want to play, is to be able to give people a place to come, and we will help them through the process. Mayor, you mentioned emerging possibilities. Emerging possibilities come from me standing here, you folks listening, and being prepared to talk about eating disorders, that the possibilities of perhaps reaching a cure Oh, I probably don't need a mic here anyway. But, I lost my- from the beginning, yeah, right.
Is it yellow and purple?
Yeah.
Yellow and,
Yellow and purple, or purple on.
I see that in the, we can arrange that. Yeah.
Space.
Thank you, Paul. Over to you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Paul, for sharing again this year. Um, 4 is a powerful number because in that moment, I was thinking what my day looked like today. And, whether it was some struggles sometimes, getting lunch, seeing a few people, and coming to council. And I just took a moment to think about the parents that were reaching out and what got to that point, what was happening that day. And it's important to start at that level of care and understanding is that there's people suffering and that your organization offers hope, and it offers a place of understanding. I also want to say I commend the organization for recognizing that this is an insidious disease that can follow us throughout all parts of our life and life cycle. I think that is so important that there's going to be better days ahead as there are difficult days. And it could be days when you're in your 20s or in your 30s, 40s, 50s onwards. So I think that is an excellent approach of understanding that you're going to be walking with people through this journey. And I commend you for that. And I look forward to seeing more at work and what may come from that new understanding and intervention. So thank you.
Counselor Fry, Counselor Lane, Counselor Locke.
Thank you, Your Worship. Paul, I'm so happy to see you here again this year. Thank you for coming in. And what you do is so important because this awareness and talking about it will help to end the stigma. We have a long way to go for mental illness. There is a stigma. A lot of people don't understand, especially eating disorders. People don't understand. So the more we talk about it and the more that you're here and in other municipalities, the more the word is getting out there. And I'm not surprised. I'm surprised at the number, but I'm not surprised that they reached out to you, those 4 people today. And it's because of your advocacy that people know where to go and what a valuable service you're offering there. If nothing else, just to have somebody on the other end of the phone that understands what they're going through. So thank you so much for all you do and keep the advocacy.
Let's finish up with Counselor Lane, Counselor Locke, and then we'll probably do a snap if that works.
Yes, thank you so much for being here again this year. I know I work with youth, I'm a teacher, and eating disorders certainly are still very prevalent. And the advocacy work that you're doing is so important. Last year, I worked in the special services department at a school, and we always do a brochure for our open house with resources for parents things they may need. And I know that the first thing I added was the Eating Disorder Foundation because the parents need to know that that resource is available. And I guess the question I just had was, if you were a parent and you suspected that your child has an eating disorder, what's the first thing that you should do? Because it's such a sensitive topic, right? Well, thank you so much because I think those connections are invaluable, and I'm sure that you can add so much as such a great lens to the education system when it comes to eating disorders. So thank you so much for all you're doing, and it's great to see your continued growth and connection with healthcare and now the schools. I think it just really speaks to the work that you're doing and the impact that you're having. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Paul, for coming in. You answered part of my question, but you made reference to the ultimate hope is to get a cure. I too am a retired teacher, so I've had experience with the issue with some of my students. Is this cross-cultural? Like the prevalence of eating disorders, is it more prevalent in, say, the North American culture versus European culture versus the Southeast Asian culture? Or is it an issue right across the board?
Thanks, everybody. Paul, thanks for coming in. Our community embraces your efforts and your advocacy, and if we can help to push that out to our families, both near and far away, we're grateful for your company tonight and for the message you've brought. All right, let's do a little. All right, we're going to start with the committee business, corporate services and public works. Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Worship. So I'm going to go right into our agenda for corporate services. So from our meeting from Corporate Service and Public Works held on Tuesday, January 6, 2025. We have 5 items there. Number 1 is our for discussion and direction. And number 1 is the appointment of the Chief Administrative Officer. The committee recommends the Chief Administrative Officer position for the City of Mount Pearl be appointed to Cassie Rideout. Ms. Rideout started with the city as Manager of Marketing, Communications and Economic Development, and then she held a position of Director of Corporate Services for 5 years. So I want to move this motion, please.
It is moved by Councillor Rice and seconded by Councillor Lane. A very good news story, I think, for the city as we transition from our former CAO, Dana Spurl, did a great job. And I think I speak for everybody, Director Rideout. We're all a team around this table here, and sometimes people play different roles, including lead roles. And it is an awesome responsibility. And I know you've taken on that very seriously. And from all of us to you, I want to just say congratulations, even though the motion's not even passed yet, but we're getting there. Council, anybody else want to jump in with questions? There's Councillor Lane and then Deputy Mayor.
I just wanted to say how proud we are to have you on as CAO. I'm sure you're going to have great success in your new role, and I'm just so happy to have you continue to work with you in your new position. So congratulations.
Further to my colleague, Councillor Lane's comments, wanted to say an immense congratulations as well. And as the mayor had mentioned, you know, we're coming from a former CAO that was did an incredible job, and it was, you never know until you know. You know, where an interview process would lead you. Having said that, we were lucky to have an amazing caliber of candidates, and from that process, it is such an honor and pleasure to be working with you in this process, and it's something really great to see movement happening within an organization, and supporting somebody's journey in where they may lie. And this one certainly, I can't imagine a person who's ready, willing, and able. So thank you.
Thank you much. Over to you, Councillor Antle.
I'll be nice and quick. Welcome, congratulations, Director, CAO, Rideout. I had a long time getting used to Director Pittman, going from Director Pittman to Rideout. Now it's a job well done. I've worked with you on many committees. I know what you can do, and congratulations and welcome aboard. Thank you, Cassie.
Councillor Rice, I think, is next.
Yes, thank you, Worship. Just want to pass along my sentiments exactly what all the rest of council said. Congratulations, and we certainly look forward to working with you and a good positive relationship, and glad to have you on board.
Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to extend congratulations to Ms. Rideout. I know you were an integral part of the team here, and I know that will continue. We are, as I said before, very fortunate to have the team of senior directors that we have here at the City of Mount Pearl. And I think it speaks to the culture around the table when one of our awesome senior leaders can rise to the head of the organization. I know your work that you've done for the city, your commitment. I know you're a team player, and I know how effectively you worked with our other senior management and all staff members. And I'm looking forward to that continued good work. So congratulations, and I wish you all the best in the new role.
Thank you much. All good? Councillor Fry.
Congratulations on your new role. I know you're going to be great at it, and I've watched you from when you started with us, 5-6 years ago, and the work that you've done and the commitment that you've had is just been exemplary. So thank you for all you do, and congratulations. And I'm really looking forward to working with you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all of the people who applied, all of the candidates, because we had some tremendous candidates. And it's kind of like a nice to know that people want to work here in Mount Pearl, and we've had a great pool, and Venur helped us out finding a great pool of candidates. And I think overall it was a really good process. So thank you to all of the candidates and looking forward to working with you. CAO Rideout.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. Director Ride, you went from Director Pittman to CAO Rideout. A few words, please.
I don't know if I'll be 10 minutes, like to keep you on your toes, right? I just wanted to express how humbled but grateful that I am for this opportunity, genuinely. I really believe that Mount Pearl is in a unique position for growth while being very mindful of our community roots. And I think that that's one of our greatest strengths. And I'm very excited to work with council and our team, our staff, my colleagues, and our incredible supports and staff and team here at the city to advance our very ambitious plan. But what I know with great certainty is that we can achieve it. So I'm very thankful to be here and to be in this position. And I look forward to working together in this new role. Thank you.
And it will take many budget approvals. All right, committee work continues over, or back to you, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Worship. Next one is our invoices for approval. You see 16 in your kit there. So the committee recommends that the following invoices totaling $213,520.38 be approved for payment, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Rice, second by Councillor Lane. Any questions? Councillor Antle first.
More of a, not so much a question as I'm kind of surprised at number 14. All right. And one of the things I looked at is, we had such a beautiful trail around Powers Pond for Halloween. And we heard so many residents talk about how nice it was. And it's when you look at it that we had to pay $15,000 out for security, otherwise it would have been damaged. When I talk to residents and I tell them, we had to charge a couple of dollars to get in, this is the cost that it costs to make sure it stays like it is. It's a sad state when you think about it, that we had to pay $15,000, but it's a fact. I guess it's something we got to live with. It's more of a statement as opposed to a question. Like, I'm kind of surprised at the $15,000, and that's it. Thank you very much.
We have a sizable investment there, Director Collins, don't we? In terms of what we've placed there, and it's the unfortunate situation where it's not protected by inside or outside walls, right?
Well, that's correct, Mayor. Thank you. It is a big investment, and we've built on it. We started it last year, and we added to it again this year. It is very unfortunate. Part of it was the length of time that we offered it. Christmas, we operated very differently when it came to the items, and we approached it a little differently. So we were able to reduce some costs, but unfortunately, that is the cost just to protect the investment of the city.
Any further questions to the payment register or the invoices for approval? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? That's carried.
Thank you. Our number 3 is our purchase card report. This is for information of council. The purchase card report for November the 26th until December the 24th, 2024, totaling $358,838.64. You can see all those there in your kit. And I will pass the other 2 over to my colleague, Councillor Lane.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is the facade improvement grant recommendation for 1114 Topsail Road, Atlantic Home Furnishing. The committee was advised that the city has received 1 application for the facade improvement grant program. Applicants who meet the criteria can receive up to 50% of total project costs, up to a maximum of $10,000. The Judging and Selection Committee has reviewed, scored, and evaluated each application based on the project criteria and the submission criteria. The Corporate Services and Public Works Committee recommends approving the facade and improvement grant at 1114 Topsail Road, Atlantic Home Furnishing, in the amount of $10,000, and I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Lane, second by Councillor Rice. Mr. Schwartz, just a quick question. This is coming out of the 2024 budget, is that correct? Okay, all right. So there's still another budget for 2025 to fund more applications if businesses so decide to apply. Further questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay, the last item on our agenda is the Public Works Status Report. The following status report is provided for information. Under Roads Division, the winter shift schedules are underway. For Parks Division, trail maintenance is ongoing. Fleet Division, service and maintenance continue, and winter equipment maintenance is ongoing. And UTM Division, there's general calls, water and sewer repairs, and the water levels at Babel's Big Pond as of January 13th, 2025. Currently, you can see there are attached. And that's it for our report this evening. Thank you very much.
Well delivered. Thank you very much. Moving over to Planning, Engineering, and Development, Councillor Antle.
Worship, thank you very much. I'll take the first two and then I'll pass to the Deputy Mayor. The first one is, and we're moving forward, it's great news, Stapleton Road. The committee was advised that the city is currently in the process, and it's all done, demolishing the former Mount Pearl swimming pool and remediating the site in preparation for the future, development opportunities. If you go down and take a look, it's all ready. As a result, the proposed amendments are as follows. Number one, the Mount Pearl Development Regulations Amendment Number 77, 2024. Rezone a portion of land at Stapleton Road, this is our former pool site, and Civics number 173 to 175, 177A Park Avenue, from open space zone and the residential medium density zone to residential high density zone. And I so move.
I don't think there's a motion.
Okay.
I do believe you are making a notice of motion. You're giving council and the public a heads up that this council at a later date will consider that motion, and at that point we will be voting on it. I do understand it's probably endorsed by everybody, but I don't know if anybody else has any insight into this. Councillor Locke, I've been around a while, but this is a notice of motion in my mind.
It goes down a little bit further, down, Mayor, Your Worship. Go ahead.
Yep. Whoever.
No, I concur what you said, Mayor. I would have seen this as a notice of motion as well, but I'm pretty certain that everyone around the table supports this fully.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks on you, and I look forward to a process which will include public notification and a briefing session.
Okay, and this number two is the Mount Pearl Municipal Plan Amendment for number 29, 2024, to redesignate a portion of land at Civic number 173 and 177A Park Avenue from open space designation to residential design. So the recommendation is the Planning and Engineering and Development Committee recommends to move forward with the Mount Pearl Development Regulations Amendment number 77, 2024, and the Mount Pearl Municipal Plan Amendment number 29, 2024, to rezone a portion of city land at Stapleton Road, which is the former pool site, from open space to residential to accommodate future residential development and the addition of public engagement to be undertaken as part of the expression of interest, which is forthcoming. And you're right, there's no motion.
Well, does council support moving this forward? All in favor? Those opposed? Now we're done. Good motion. Notice of motion.
Yeah, we got the motion in, so. All right. There you go. Number two for me is the 2023 asphalt and concrete request for approval. There's a contractor change order number one. The tender for 2023 asphalt and concrete services were awarded to Black Diamond Construction Limited, in the amount of $213,911.50, HST included. Work consisted of the repair or removal of replacement of asphalt, concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalk, and manholes and catch basins in various locations throughout the city. As part of the ongoing management of this contract, Engineering Services requesting the approval of an addition to this contract in the amount of $60,806.25, HST included, to cover the cost of the variance in the contract quantities. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee is recommending the approval of the contractor change number 1, payable to Black Diamond Construction, payable in the amount of 60,806, HST included, to account for additional work completed under this contract. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, second by the Deputy Mayor. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Contraminded? Carried as well.
And now I'll pass it over to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ansel. The next item on our agenda is the building and occupancy permit listing following the period of January 1st to January 17th, 2025. So the Planning and Engineering and Development Committee recommends that the residential and commercial building permits issued for this period, having a total construction value of $1,794,350 be approved. And furthermore, the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. And just an FYI, of course, the building permit and occupancy permit list, as well as commercial, is just in our kits there for you to review. And I so move.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, occupancy permits and building construction permits. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried.
Thank you. And that leads up to our last agenda item, which is the capital projects update. So for multi-streets projects, including Carroll Drive, Farrell Drive, and Birch Avenue, right now, most are complete. There are some deficiencies remaining on Carroll and Farrell Drive. And as well on Birch Avenue, there's some property reinstatement that's remaining. In relation to our Northlands upgrades, and of course, that's a larger plan around development, we have a design ongoing and a tender anticipated for mid-January for Farrell Drive, and that's actually Topsail to Evans. With regards to Farrell Drive's pump house upgrades, there's a design ongoing, and the tender is anticipated for the spring of 2025. For Wyatt Boulevard Linear, the design nearing completion and the tender is anticipated for winter 2025. With regards to our water tower, the design is ongoing and the tender is anticipated for the winter of 2025, along with our water tower road and the Taverner Place. We're anticipating a design by 2025. There's also the sewage lift station, and the design is ongoing. The tender is anticipated for about the winter, spring 2025. And finally, regarding Northlands, there's Holden Street upgrades, and the design is ongoing, along with the tender that it'll be anticipated for spring 2025. There's also Jackman Drive upgrades, and that is a request for proposals that was issued January 15th. Closing January 29th from 2025. There's a design expected for 2025, as well as a tender anticipated for the spring of 2025. And that is the end of our committee report, Your Worship.
Thank you so much. Well delivered as well. Recreation and Community Safety is next. Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Let's talk about our Winter Carnival. So coming up very shortly, from February the 6th to the 16th, is our 43rd annual Frosty Festival. And I know there's been a lot of talk about this lately in the community, especially. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up tonight is to let people know that tickets are now on sale. So the Frosty Festival schedule of events is posted on all of our social media platforms, and as well as in the Pearl Pulse that was sent to every resident through the mail. And tickets are on sale at www.frostyfestival.ca. And don't be disappointed. Get your tickets before they're sold out, because a lot of them do sell out pretty quick. And they're wonderful events, and it's going to be a great festival. Next on our agenda is the Summit Artistic Swimming Winterfest. And that's going to take place from February the 8th to the 9th. And there will be some recreation swim cancellations as a result. The Summit Artistic Swimming will be hosting their Winterfest on February the 8th and 9th at the Summit Center Pool. This will involve cancellations to the following recreation swims. From Saturday, February the 8th, There's going to be the lane swim, the adult leisure swim, the family swim, public swim, sensory swim. Basically, there's not going to be much happening there at that point. There is no swimming lesson scheduled on Saturday, February the 8th. And as well, on Sunday, February the 9th, it's going to affect the 7 a.m. lane swim and adult leisure swim and 10:45 to 11 a.m. family swim. And there are also no swimming lessons scheduled on Sunday, February the 9th. So that's it for my portion. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Locke, for the remainder of our report this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Fry. Thank you, Mayor. The last item for us has to do with our Easter Explorers Day Camp, another popular event in the city of Mount Pearl that tends to sell out very quickly. The registration dates are February 24th and 26th, and our camp is going to run from April 21st to the 25th of 2025. And the activities include swimming, Easter egg hunts, crafting, watching movies, devouring pizza, and so much, much more. The kids really, really love this. The camp runs daily, Mayor, from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 p.m. at our Reed Community Centre on Smallwood Drive. Children must be in grades kindergarten to grade 6 to participate. The costs, including early and late drop-off, are all noted on the city's website. Registration, as always, is open first to our Mount Pearl residents on Monday, February the 24th at 5 p.m., and then our non-residents on Wednesday, February 26th at 5 p.m. And just a note here, Mayor, that proof of residency will be required in advance of registration day. So it sounds like April is a long way away, but that will be here before we know it. So that's it for us, Mayor. I thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Great council meeting. Now it's time to end with a quick roundtable, and we're starting with Councillor Antle tonight.
Your Worship, thank you very much. We only got a couple, and I'll speed it right along. The first one is on Sunday last week. Myself and the mayor and Councillor Lane Councillor Locke had the opportunity to go to the glacier where we named our new electric resurfacer, and it was a great event. But the youngsters were really happy about it. You know, this electric resurfacer is fabulous, and our staff had it all shined up. They wouldn't let us take it for a drive. Right, but I'd like to thank Charlie Fulford and Jensen Shepherd. They came up with the name Lightning McLean. I thought that was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool name. McLean. Anyhow, it was a cool name. When you see I was going to call it a Zamboni, but it's not a Zamboni. But when you go up there and take a look, you'll see it. It looks fabulous. And the second thing for me is that I know we all take advantage of the Seniors Independence. We go to a lot of the functions. But this week, I joined the Seniors Independence. And I had my first event yesterday where I played darts. But I was really amazed. I went down. I never took advantage of one of these events, but the Seniors Independence Group, they're active every single day, and it's such a huge crowd. I went down to play darts, and I didn't think there'd be a lot of people. There was 50 people playing darts. And, you know, it was so much fun. I mean, it was great to get. Not very well. Not very well. But, you know, it was like there was no teams. You just get down and 50 people showed up and you drew your name out of a hat and you played darts. And I thought it was great. Like tomorrow they have a friendship center and, you know, you just go down, same thing. But it's great for the seniors in our community to get out and get involved. There's so many things that we can do. And, you know, it cost me $10 to join. And yesterday it cost me $1 to play darts. So, you know, it's a great bit of fun. And I really enjoyed it. So look forward to your Seniors Independence update every month. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Worship. I got two items. I got one that's really good news and I got one that's really sad. So I'm going to start off with the good news one first. I just want to actually point out a bit of information. Actually, City of Mount Pearl actually got our results back from our water usage. So I want to make a few comments on our water usage compared to 2013 until presently in 2024. I don't know if you know, but anyway, we got some information back and we're up now. We're using 50%, actually it's above 50%, but I'm going to use 50% as a round number. We're using 50% less water in 2024 than we used in 2013. It's hard to fathom, but it is. We've had growth in the city. Now, I'm sure this is contributing, the numbers are contributing to new infrastructure, ISEP work and multi-year capital work projects with our sanitary storm and our water. Plus, Mount Pearl has, I just want to take this second to mention that Mount Pearl, we have leak detection system in the city that's we invested immensely in. And right now we have, I can honestly say we have second to none in the northeastern Avalon to anybody around. The work that we do with our UTM and our leak detection and our finding our leaks and doing repairs, it's so important here in the city because it helps us with our water usage and what we pay for water. When it comes to regional water and usage, Mount Pearl are doing their part, and they're certainly ahead of, in my opinion, because the numbers show it. The data doesn't lie. So we are certainly doing our part with our water usage and the amount of water that we use in the city. Now, in saying that, we've had an increase in our residential and our businesses and our commercial developments in the city since 2013. So we're increasing in our all those areas, but we're decreasing in our water usage. So I want to say, first of all, I'm so happy to be able to report this, but also I want to say it's a big contributor to our director, Dalamont, and Corey and staff at Public Works, what they do up there. And when it comes to the regional water, it's all of us got to do diligence, and I guess certainly we had to be mindful of our water usage. But not only that, we had to certainly invest in our UTM and our leak detection systems when it comes to our conversations around regional water. So that's that part. The second one I want to mention is a really good friend of mine, actually, Ward Goss, passed away. He was a councillor in Torbay. I met Ward, played ice hockey with Ward back 20 plus years ago, but I really got to know Ward because I coached volleyball at Mount Pearl Senior High, and back in the around 2006 to 2013, 14, I got to know Ward because Ward's daughter Cassie played on Torbay, the Holy Spirit School. Was it Holy Spirit or Holy Trinity? Holy Trinity High School. And I got to know Ward down there through, through being a coach and in the gyms almost every weekend for several years, like from probably September till February, March. And I just want to pass along my condolences to Ward's family. I mean, it's such a shock. He would have been 57 in May. Such a young man. And I touched base last night with a couple of people I knew, and and I just want to find out if it was true and stuff. But it is true, and and it's such a sad situation, and it's such a sad he got 3 kids, and such a young man. But I just want to pass along my sincere condolences, and I sure on behalf of all council in the city of Mount Pearl. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also want to send my condolences to the family of Mount Pearl Blades athlete JD Trainer. I had the pleasure of knowing JD from working at Mount Pearl Intermediate. He was only 16 years old. It was a tremendous loss. So I want to send my condolences to his friends and family, to his Blades community, and as well as to everyone over at Mount Pearl Senior High. That's a huge loss, so my condolences to them. And that was it for me this evening. Thank you.
Sad times for some families. Councillor Fry.
Just one for me this evening, Your Worship. I know in our last public meeting, we talked about that we didn't want to let go of the incidents that happened here and the violent incidents. We wanted to let people know that this is still top of our mind. And one of the things we talked about was what we heard at the community meeting. So I just wanted to let people know, for the information of the public, that the executive summary and notes from the community conversation on public safety meeting that we had on December the 3rd, that those notes are posted on the city's website now. And the city continues to meet with representatives of the Department of Justice on community safety and well-being plan. And this is still top of our mind. It's not forgotten, and it's something that's important to all of us. So I encourage everybody to go and have a look at our website. That's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
It's a round table. Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to speak further to what Councillor Rice was saying about our leak detection. I remember when we brought before council an unbudgeted amount. I think it was called the correlator, if memory serves me correctly. It was $40,000, and it was going to help us conserve water. And I brought it up before, but I am so proud, as Councillor Rice said, because I will never forget the headline in the local paper, Mount Pearl were the water hogs. They called us the water hogs, I don't know if of the Northeast Avalon or Newfoundland Labrador. But now we've reduced our water consumption, to Councillor Rice's point, by 48%, almost 50%, despite the growth that we've had in residences and businesses. And I know as the Northeast Avalon continues to develop, there's going to be a greater strain put on the water resources that we have in the region. There's talks about having to bring on Thomas's Pond and looking for other sources of water. But I would contend that if our other regional partners followed suit to the initiatives and the dedication that the city of Mount Pearl has, and yes, kudos to our staff, because I asked Director Dolleman some months back, and I think we were still batting 1,000 at time for locating these leaks. Our staff are extremely good at doing that. But I also want to commend our residents as well, because I know our communications people have been promoting the necessity for conserving our water during the summertime, don't waste water, and the like. So I think the combination between our communications and our leak detection, and we're leading the way. So before we look at a huge expenditure of bringing on another water supply, let's look at how we can reduce, because we are a shining example of how, if the will is there, we can bring down our water consumption. Thank you, Mayor.
No, I agree both with Councillor Rice and Councillor Locke. Responsible use of a limited resource, a resource that's not free. We have not been motivated just by financial savings, but we have invested in that equipment. We've reaped that benefit. But to reduce our consumption below to a level of 50%, the strategy of the city has always been to ensure that we have additional water capacity to be used for future growth and development. And the city is continuing, as articulated, I think, with the Deputy Mayor in her update, with regards to a water tank and distribution infrastructure throughout. If the city of St. John's is intending on cutting off the water, I think we need to collaborate as an entire region. So I think it's time to get out there and talk about ways of avoiding the major expense associated with Thomas Pond. It may be coming someday, depending on growth, but I think it starts with responsible leadership when it comes to water conservation. And I think if anybody wants to have a further chat about it, they can come to the city of Mount Pearl and look at what we've done over the last few years with our infrastructure. So there we have it. We had a great meeting. I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn. Did you miss something in the roundtable, Deputy Mayor? Okay, we're in roundtable. Sorry, I'm missing something. Oh, I apologize. In the finale, here is the Deputy Mayor.
No problem whatsoever. And yes, and to your point, Your Worship, regarding those sentiments, water conservation is important for all the reasons we know it is. It's environmental. When we look at climate change, we need to look at water conservation globally and regionally. And this is a regional issue, and it will continue to be. So, fair collaboration around those tables are so important. And I think that's our work that we've developed here is innovative. However, it can be absolutely replicated. So again, I think this demonstrates a community is willing to get on board, and it has. For us, it's so important around visioning, because when we look at new developments, such as Northlands development, that cannot exist without our efforts of conserving our water. So having these conversations are so important. So again, to all it sounds like it's a matter that has sought interest throughout all of our thoughts today around the round table, which is great. Just another item, I just wanted to also recognize that today was the first kind of cold day out there in our city. And certainly our winter maintenance and fleet are absolutely out far and wide. However, you know, as this is the first day, just be mindful of when you are traveling, whether that is on foot, bike, if you dare, if you're a brave one, or more importantly, in your car. Just be conscious that we are in winter season now, that it is your responsibility. You are the person behind the wheel that holds responsibility in those moments, and safety is paramount. That is, I believe this is a part of our culture of safety in our community. Is as not only do we develop safety procedures, but it's important that we follow them as well, as all members. So just a little note there.
Thank you. And again, my apologies.
No.
All right, let's wrap things up. Thank you very much for your attendance. Good luck to our new CIO and to everybody around this table as we move the city forward. I'm going to call for a motion, and it's from the Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Second by Councillor Locke. We are adjourned.